Hi everyone. Probably some of the participants they know who I am. My name is Stan Kapowski. I am a human rights researcher, a journalist, and a YouTuber based in Taiwan. My wife is Taiwanese. I used to live in Taiwan, that beautiful country, for 15 years. And very pleased, and it's an honor to be invited to today's event. First of all, probably most of the people know in how big of a danger Taiwan is right now, with constant threats and encroaching threats coming from the Chinese Communist Party and the Chinese regime. Whenever any kind of elections are going on in Taiwan, whenever Taiwanese people want to participate in any international organization, for example, like the World Health Organization or the United Nations, they usually face backlash, not only from the Chinese government, but by many nationalist forces. Their entrance to those international organizations is being blocked, even though they contribute a lot to the sphere of human rights, global health. Like when the global pandemic started, it was the Taiwanese doctors who actually who showed the world that something's wrong is going on in China. And it is very sad to see China, beautiful country of more than 1 billion people, how in how terrible conditions people are living right now there. And probably I'll just spend a little bit of time talking about history. But there's probably not many of you know that before late 1980s and early 1990s, China and Taiwan were both ruled by authoritarian regimes, by the communist regime in China and by the nationalist regime in Taiwan. And at the time when here in Europe we saw the democratization of Poland, Germany being reunited under democracy, Czechia, Slovakia, Baltic states, countries getting independence and moving towards the beautiful democratic future, there were also two paths, one taken by the Taiwanese people and the other one taken by China, unfortunately. After the mass protests in 1989, the Chinese government chose to send tanks and murder thousands of people on the Tiananmen Square. And around the same time, there were mass protests, like the White Lilies protests in Taiwan. And Taiwanese government was more, they were wiser than the Chinese counterparts. And that's why right now we are having a vibrant democracy in Taiwan, and China is implementing various laws. They're actually committing genocide. They're against the Uyghur people, against Tibetan people. There's a problem of state organs, forest organ harvesting in China, in all the areas of China. It started with Tibetans and Uyghurs, then they started prosecuting the Falun Gong practitioners, and the situation is not ending. The whole world saw how terrible and inhumane were the lockdowns in China during the global pandemic, the COVID pandemic. Then people saw the white paper protests. Just imagine a country where when you go outside with a sheet of paper, a piece of paper, you can be detained for nothing. Just for holding a white piece of paper. It's like communist Russia or, Venezuela maybe, and North Korea, and modern China. But the people in China are not satisfied with what's going on there. And it's very encouraging to see people actually taken to the streets, like with the recent case in Sichuan, city of Jiangyou, when the case of bullying of children, and when the people saw how the parents of those children kneeled down before the Communist Party officials, people could not stand it anymore. They took to the streets. And how did the Chinese Communist Party treat them? Everybody knows here how did the Chinese Communist Party treat them. They put them into vehicles that is transporting pigs. So Chinese government treats Chinese people as pigs, not as people, just as cattle. They literally treat them as cattle, but the people don't want to stand this anymore, and they're fighting and protesting. But protests in the country of China are very, very hard to implement. It's very hard to do with the global surveillance, with torture camps, with concentration camps, with people are not being able to apply for passports, like a colleague supporting Tibet probably knows that it's impossible for a Tibetan person to get a passport and to go abroad, or for a Uyghur person. It's almost impossible to practice your religion in mosques, in churches. They hang those Xi Jinping's portraits. so they have to worship the dictator and not the God. So it is very saddening, but there always is the silver lining. As when I talk to Chinese people living abroad, they are just like Europeans, just like Americans. Everybody wants to live in a free society and a free country. Everybody wants to have peace, not fight with each other. And that's why they are here today. And it should be very encouraging for everyone. And I hope that if there are Chinese tourists, 如果有中国的观光客，你们可以注意一下，听到自由的声音，为民主为自由发声。And I hope that everybody understands that the CCP way is not the only way. China can still democratize and become a country like any other democratic countries. And Chinese people are worthy. They deserve to live in a democracy. They deserve to live in a free country. So thank you so much. I'll say a couple of words in Mandarin. And 我今天真的觉得很感动，看到那么多的来自中国的人出来抗议。因为一般来说，这种抗议会有台湾人嘛，因为台湾常常被骚扰、被恐吓，也有西藏人啊，有维吾尔人啊，有土伯特人，有西藏人，这个用法不太好。新疆人也是不好的用法，因为新的凭借的意思，就是还是殖民中的一些国家。但是现在就是不是一般来说在抗议活动可以看到的香港人啊、西藏人、新疆人，中国人也出来了。也表达自己的诉求，希望可以住在一个民主、自由、多元、包容的一个社会。而且我觉得，其实全世界的人都觉得中国人值得住在这种环境，住在自由跟民主。而中共，它是一个流氓政权，它是绑架中国的。而且我今天看到很多人说习近平下台啊，然后共产党滚蛋啊，真的共产党滚蛋，中国才可以恢复自己的文明、自己的文化，才会成为真正的世界的强国。因为你的强项不是共产党，也不是习近平，也不是密集监控，也不是大疆，也不是敌人，而是文明、多元跟包容。好，那非常感谢大家，声援加油，四川加油，中国加油，大家加油！